Force, which we're partnered with the FBI and state police on. We're investigating some attempted carjackings that happened in a number of locations through the city, two separate incidents that happened in separate locations here in the city. Local law enforcement agencies in the region were working with us. We made several attempts to try to stop the cars. We identified the vehicle that was involved in the carjacking. We had good descriptions of the suspects that were involved in the carjacking, and we were aware that they were armed. Several regional departments assisted us in the efforts to try to apprehend them. We were unsuccessful. Later in the evening, somewhere around 10 p.m., the car was spotted back in Waterbury. Waterbury police were called to the west end of the city, to America Street, on a call involving this stolen vehicle that was early involved in the attempted carjackings. Two detectives were the first officers to arrive on America Street. They were able to identify a location where the suspects were attempting to flee from this area. It led them through some backyards onto Claremont Street. Once on Claremont Street, at number 16 Claremont Street, Detective R.J. Sackett of the Waterbury Police Department, assigned to the Vice and Intelligence Unit, came around the back of that particular building. When he came around the back of that particular building, he was fired upon by a suspect. The officer sustained an injury to his upper right thigh. Other officers arrived on scene immediately, rendered aid, and were able to get him to Waterbury Hospital in a very quick manner. And I'm very happy to report that he's doing quite well. So we're really grateful that his injuries were not worse than what he sustained, and our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. As far as the investigation is concerned, 3 suspects were apprehended in this particular case. The first suspect is Sidney Reed. He was charged with crimes associated with those attempted carjackings earlier in the night. He is currently held on a $1.5 million bond, and he will be arraigned in Waterbury Superior Court later today. The second suspect is Alberto Rodriguez, again charged with a number of charges associated with those attempted carjackings. He is also held on a $1.5 million bond and will be arraigned in Waterbury Superior Court later today. The third suspect is the shooter in this particular case, Ariane Perez Feliciano. He is charged with assault, first degree, unlawful discharge of a firearm, 2 counts of robbery in the first degree, conspiracy to commit robbery in the first degree, criminal attempt at murder, assault on a police officer, interfering with a police officer, criminal use of a firearm, reckless endangerment, first degree, carrying a pistol without a permit, 2 counts, and possession of a high-capacity magazine and a handgun with obliterated serial numbers. Perez Feliciano is currently being held on a $2 million bond, and he again will be arraigned at Waterbury Superior Court later this afternoon. I'd like to turn it over now to the mayor for some comments.
Thank you, Chief. I would just like to commend the Waterbury Police Department on a terrific job of law enforcement last evening. They apprehended 3 very dangerous criminals, got them off the streets. These are 3 individuals who evidence very little regard for human life. We're happy that they're off the streets, and they should go away for a very, very long time. Our thoughts, of course, are with Detective R.J. Sackett and his family, our thoughts and our prayers. I'm glad that he is going to recover. Hopefully he'll be released from the hospital soon, and that, as the chief said, his injuries weren't worse than they turned out to be. But this is a reminder of what a dangerous and important job the police do every day, and I want to commend our police department as a whole. Every one of them takes this risk every day when they put on that uniform and go out there to what they will tell you is just doing their job. But their job is to protect all of us here in Waterbury. Last night was a great example of the professionalism and the dedication of our police officers. And so I would ask that everyone keep our police officers in mind as well and say a prayer for them when you go home this evening, because they are doing a very dangerous job on behalf of all of us. But I want to commend them for the work that they did last night, and particularly for getting these 3 very dangerous people off of the streets.
Thank you, boss. So a little more information on this particular investigation. The Inspector General's office, as well as the Waterbury State's Attorney's office, is involved in this investigation. Officer Sackett was able to return fire at one point during the interaction with the suspect. There's no injuries to the suspect other than one of them who had some injuries from a police canine that took him down. That was not in the area of Claremont. That was further down on Wilson and Sunnyside a little later after the shooting took place. So there will be more information that will be released by the Inspector General's office. I've been in close contact with them. We anticipate a preliminary report and potentially some video early next week to be released by them. They will handle the use of force that was conducted by Detective Sackett. The Waterbury Police Department, in collaboration with the Waterbury State's Attorney's Office, will handle the arrest and the criminal prosecution and adjudication of the case.
Chief, do you mind spelling Sackett for us?
Yes, S-A-C-K-E-T-T.
And how long he's been with the department?
He was hired in 2007. He's come up through the ranks to the position of detective, highly decorated police officer here in the city.
And how long after the shooting were these three guys arrested? How
Two of them, including the shooter, in that group were apprehended within minutes of the incident. The third party was apprehended within the hour.
As far as engaging with the suspects goes, at that time, can you comment at all on the chase and maybe the speed that these suspects were going in the vehicle that they were in?
They were in a stolen vehicle. It was a white Ford Explorer. There were police departments within the region that assisted in trying to apprehend these people. I don't have any details if there even was a pursuit. We know the vehicle was spotted north of Waterbury on local streets, then north of Waterbury on Route 8, and then back in the city. Any other questions?
And Chief, you believe these three will be arraigned later today? Any idea what time that might be?
My understanding is at 2 o'clock, 2 p.m.
You did say that this was part of an investigation of carjackings going around in this area. Were these suspects part of that
Yes.
pursuit?
Yes, they were. Right. There were two failed carjackings that occurred just prior to this interaction with police on Claremont Street.
And where were those locations?
One was on Chase Avenue. The other was on Willow Street. I'm sorry, Waterville Street.
And they were successful in the third carjacking? That's the car?
No,
The car was stolen from a previous...
correct.
And we're talking about a series of problems that are not only Waterbury but all over the state in terms of like how to handle these carjackings. Some come from Bridgeport, from other cities, but they end up here. Do we know how the police force is helping not only in the city but within other municipalities to make this not an issue in terms of like ending up in an officer getting shot?
Yeah, listen, it's a great question. I have a lot of opinions on things. As the mayor said, these individuals, need to be held accountable for their actions. Gun violence is a terrible thing, and it's although we've seen some better numbers and we've enjoyed some reduction in violent crime through the state over the course of the last year, it can't be forgotten, and all of us, right, citizens, folks in authority, our legislators need to remember that gun violence is still a very dangerous act that occurs here in the state. It puts our police officers in harm's way and at risk, obviously. And as importantly, in most cases, more importantly, it puts our community members at risk. There'll be some more information that comes out from the IG's office about this incident and how many rounds were fired at the officer, and you'll be able to understand a little bit better at that point. But I think an important, clear, loud message needs to be sent to members of the community that want to engage in this type of activity, this type of violent behavior or gunplay.
Chief, where were you when you got the call that one of your officers had been shot, and what did you do?
Well, I was home and I responded to the city immediately.
This might, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
This might be more once the investigation's concluded. Can you tell us anything about the guns that the suspects had that they then fired at the officer? Were those legal guns?
Well, no, one it had obliterated serial numbers and it had a high-capacity magazine, and obviously the suspect did not have a permit to have that weapon, so the gun was illegal. There was also a long gun that was seized as well as part of this investigation.
Chief, what were you thinking in those moments when you did get the call, you know, an officer of yours is shot, he's been with the department 17, 18 years, what were you thinking?
You know, unfortunately, we talked about this with my executive team this morning and had calls from, you know, Commissioner Higgins and other peers from around the state. You know, we dread that call. We know it's going to occur. I mean, it's more likely than not that this type of incident is going to occur. And, you know, you hope for the best, right? This was actually a reasonable outcome for a very, very terrible situation. You know, honestly, if you're stuck in this situation, I'd have it no other way than what occurred. I mean, the officer's now safe. He'll have an opportunity to convalesce, and it's looking like he'll be able to return 100% to his daily life. So we're really grateful for that. You know, we focus on training. We focus on equipment. We are fortunate here in Waterbury to have a tremendous amount of support from our mayor's office and from the citizens of this community. And, you know, we're grateful for that. We appreciate it. And, you know, we'll just continue to go down the same road, continue to do our job, and make the community safer.
Were any of these three known to the department at all? Any priors?
Somewhat, yeah, yes. Yeah, somewhat. Not like, as we've seen in the past. They weren't prolific in their criminal activity, but they had involvement in criminal activity in the city.
Do you live in Waterbury?
I believe all three do, yes. Anything else?
Is it possible to release the video today?
No video for me, no. The Inspector General's office is in possession of the body camera video and any other video that was collected, and they'll be released with their preliminary report.
Was the guy who shot Sackett, was he like in a car, or do you know where he was at the time of the shooting?
I can't comment on the shooting, on the use of force at this point. All I could comment
Not
is
the
on
use of
criminal
force, the
investigation.
shooter who shot.
Well, that would precipitate the use of force, so I'm not going to go down that road right now. Thank you.
And you say there wasn't a pursuit? Because it sounded like on the scanner, pursuit was going all the way to Thomaston or Waterbury, Watertown, and
Again,
state police.
our people were not involved in a pursuit. You know, I know that there was information coming in third hand into the dispatch center and relayed to our officers on the street, but anything else?
Was he shot? Like any bone? Like, was he hit the bone, or just?
It was through and through in the leg, in the right thigh. Yeah.
Right, cheek, right leg?
Right leg, yeah. The right, not the other right. Okay.
Right.
Listen, we really appreciate all your support. You know, we make the call. You always come and give us great coverage. So we're really grateful for that and helping us in our transparency to the community. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
This is off record. I mean, for Telemundo, do we have some